Theorem. Okay, so the Pythagorean Theorem only applies to right triangle. Now, what is a right triangle, you ask? We have one right here. A right triangle is any triangle that has an angle of 90 degrees. So this is 90 degrees. Okay, so the side opposite from our little 90-degree angle here is going to be called the hypotenuse. And the other two sides are called the legs of the triangle. So the Pythagorean theorem tells us that a squared, which is one of the legs squared, plus b squared, which is another of the legs squared, equals c squared, which is the hypotenuse of this triangle squared. So we're going to do some problems and then you'll feel more familiar with this theorem, but you're going to be applying this a lot throughout middle and high school. Okay, let's try with the problem. The hypotenuse of a right triangle is 13. So they've given us the hypotenuse and one of the legs here, but they haven't given us the leg of the other. That's okay, we can figure this out. Okay, so we're going to start by drawing again. So we have our right triangle, the 90 degrees. One of the legs is 5 centimeters and the hypotenuse is 13. Now let's think back to our Pythagorean theorem that tells us a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that means 13 squared equals 5 squared plus b squared, because we don't know the length of one of the legs. So let's just simplify this first. So 13 squared is 169. So 169 equals 5 squared, which we know is 25, plus b squared. So now what we're going to do is get all our constants on one side and all our variables on the other. So we're going to subtract 25 from here and subtract 25 from here. So that gives us b squared equals 169 minus 25, which is 144. And again, we want to find the length of the side of b, so we're going to square root here, square root here, so we get b equals 12. So the answer is 12. Now, we can also double check our work to find out if we were right. So let's just erase this. So this is the answer that we had. So to find out if we were right, we're going to add 12 squared plus 5 squared, and that should equal 13 squared. So that's 144 plus 25, and that should equal 169. So 144 plus 25 is 9, plus 6, and 1. So that means that we were right. We solved this correctly, and you can always use this trick to double check. Okay, now our last question here. The hypotenuse is given and another of the legs is given. So we have to find length. So we're going to go... Okay, so now we're going to go 7 squared is equal to 5 squared plus b squared, because we're missing the length of the leg and we have the hypotenuse and the length of the other leg. So that's 49 equals 25 plus b squared. I'm sorry about my handwriting. And we're going to subtract 25 to get all the constants on one side. That gives us 24 equals b squared. And we're going to square root. So b equals the square root of 24, because since 24 isn't a perfect square, we're going to leave it like this, but we're going to simplify it. So we're going to choose the closest square we have to it, which is 4. So we're going to go 4 times 6 equals 24, right? Now we know the square root of 4 is 2, so we can take out the 2. But we don't have a square root for 6, so that's why we're going to leave it just at 6, so that's our answer. This is a little bit tricky, and you don't really need to start with problems like these. You can stick to problems like these and then graduate to problems like this. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. Go over the video if you feel like you missed anything, and use other resources to help you learn. Thank you.